my loves, I am back with your weekly reading. Hello. Thank you so much to everyone for being so patient with me. I did not mean to take so long being away, but just life, illnesses, everything has, just eaten up all my time. But we are now back with the weekly reads. So, Pile 1, you have books, which is this one here. I also have a new setup as I have a new stand, so bear with me as I get used to this. But Pile 1, you have books. Pile 2, you have this really cute little jar, which makes me think of like a jar of knowledge kind of thing with all the books and everything there. And this to me reads also very much like an academic kind of thing about putting all your books in one place. And then 3, read more books. Pile 3 already, I'm looking at this and kind of feeling like you're a pile that has a lot of pressure or puts a lot of pressure on themselves. There's a demand to read more books. You're not reading enough, that kind of feeling. Okay, so we are going to get cracking with Pile 1. Timestamps are in here. If you enjoy this reading, please like and subscribe. It really, really, really helps me out. There'll be some other news that I'm going to do later on in terms of thinking about the whole show and everything that I want to do with this, not just tarot readings, but building a kind of podcast, doing some educational stuff, like teaching you guys how to read tarot and stuff like that. So yeah, keep your eye out on that. And yeah, please head over to your piles. Hello, Pile 1. Welcome. This is your weekly read for the week coming ahead. So you've got books, which already feels like to me like you're in escapism mode. You're like, I don't want to deal with anything. I don't want to adult. I don't want to whatever. I just want to have a little bit of escapism, a little bit of like checking out. Yeah, checking out. So we're just going to get in the zone a little bit here. Trusty little crystal wand. So I want you guys to just take a deep breath in and out. Cool. And we are going to shuffle. So this Pile 1 is your week ahead. Already we're wanting to jump before we think, so that's Monday. I'll be amazed if the Fool comes up, because you're giving me, like already that Fool card is in my head. Tuesday, let's put that there. Monday, Tuesday, hopefully you can see all this, like I said, new setup. Wednesday, I wanted to turn you around already. There's like an anticipation for some of you for Wednesday. You're like, something finalizes, there's like a deadline, or if you sent something to an examination, it's like, this is the day. Thursday, put you here actually. Friday, that breath is like a release on Friday. We're like, oh, week's done. Saturday and Sunday. Cool. And your overarching card for the week is failure. Okay, so some of you already, when I'm looking at this failure, I'm just going to put everything together and just make sure we're all in the zone. Yes, we're all together. We're fine. Failure already as a card shouts to me and tells me that there's a real kind of, for some of you, imposter syndrome. And there's also this kind of, like this fear of being a failure, like you're letting people down. You're running yourself ragged kind of thing. I'm seeing like a headless chicken, which is not a great image, but it's that kind of thing of you're running around, you're doing so much for other people mostly, and you're getting to burn out. But there is a real fear of failure, of letting people down, of letting someone down. A lot more for you for personal rather than work, but some of you it is work. So Monday, yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we got a lot of queens and prince and princesses. Friday, interesting. Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so you're going through it this week, part 1. So you've got the Queen of Swords, which is here. Maybe if I bring that up a bit further and hopefully you don't get a glare. So, I just realised she's naked. Is anyone else naked? No, okay. So, Hopefully YouTube, I'm not re-recording this. Hopefully YouTube doesn't pick that up. So if we just cover her boobies, her melons, you can see here you've got the sword of clarity right here. We're taking off our masks, we're taking off parts of ourselves, we're dealing with this failure kind of head on. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that you are failing, but it's dealing with the pressure of failing. And you're having a real kind of conversation on Monday with your inner saboteur as well. There we go. And there's a real urgency to want to be free of that, to want to kind of take off that mask there and get rid of anything that's, holding you. Like, I'm getting this kind of, the fight or flight. It's anything that's stopping you from flying. It's anything that's keeping you in freeze mode. Like, I'm seeing Mr. Freeze, as in Batman, and and like fight or flight. And that's what that's given me as a kind of image in my head. Monday is really working through your own personal things, your own personal stuff, anything that it's having that conversation with the inner saboteur. And if you haven't named your inner saboteur, do, because it allows you to bring some distance. So my inner saboteur, I call her Gloria, because when she's like harping on and she's kind of like me, I'm like, okay, glory to you, Gloria, shut up. In the nicest way. Thank you for keeping me safe, but also shut up. And there's something about glory to you, Gloria, that just makes me giggle. It just gives a separation. It's not a religious thing. It is just a separation of being like, okay, have your hymn, have your speech, have your sermon, but like, we're done now. Glory to you. Anyway, let's move on. Tuesday, Prince of Cups. That's you kind of, I'm getting like this, like you're being several places at once. You're doing several things at once. This normally as a card, if I bring this up, is about skimming emotions as well. It's about looking at things that matter, about love and family, but not trying to like, what's the word for it? Not trying to like lose yourself in all of that, keeping a balance and not ignoring the lotus, which are things that actually bring you joy and things that actually bring you peace and stuff. And this card always reminds me of the action of when you throw a rock across, when you skim a rock across a pond or a lake and you just watch as it, skims the surface and cracks on. That's you. You're the rock. At some point you'll sink to the bottom of the emotions and you'll have to sit there. But I think the conversation you've had with yourself on Monday, to look at what are your priorities, what are the things you're dealing with, what brings you joy, what lights you up, what's going to stop you getting to burnout. Tuesday is where you're really putting things into motion. And I'm going to come to, because by the end of the week, because there's some kind of stuff being thrown at you here, but by the end of the week, Friday, that strength that you have with dealing with your inner self, that strength that you have with dealing with your saboteur would be a lot better. The Prince of Discs for Wednesday. Much more material, much more living in this realm, as opposed to water, which is emotions, and then you've got air, which is intellect and thinking and kind of talking to yourself. The Prince of Discs, he's got the whole world in his hand, just like that song. I don't know why we're going a bit biblical in this reading. Maybe some of you are having a bit of a spiritual crisis and you're wanting to realign or bring yourself more into manifestation or divine or whichever else. That's for some of you, not for all. But you can see here with the Prince of Discs, there is a forward momentum and there's a movement. And he's being pulled forward and he's very vulnerable. I don't think there's... Let me cover. I think you kind of see some kind of genital. There we go. I honestly forgot about YouTube's not showing anything there. So yeah. It's very much, for a lot of you, this is about something coming into completion, like a project finishing, somebody coming back with feedback on what you need. It's like, especially for around work, there's a lot of you who you're waiting on other people to do what they need to do, and they're not doing it. And then suddenly it comes in on Wednesday and they're like, oh, here is everything that you asked for. And you're just sat there kind of going, oh, they did do it. Because at this point you're kind of thinking, I'm going to have to step in. And again, that goes back to this failure and this whole, there's very much a process here about doing too much for too many people. Sometimes when you try and be helpful, you're actually enabling, and doing other people's work where they should be stepping up is not, it's just burning you out. It's just killing you. And then they'll expect that from you every single time. So some of you need to know that. And I'm really sorry if that's like triggered somebody and made them really sad, because I'm getting this want to like pass you guys a tissue to be like, don't cry. With this, you got strength card, which is Thursday. You bring this in. This is where you're really kind of coming into your own inner strength. You know, your arrows are pointing all the way they need to be. You're a lot more aligned. You've been through the motions. You've gone through the roller coaster kind of here. And I'm just looking because we've got swords, cups, discs, and wands. So you've got the full array. You're bringing everything together at this point. When it gets to Thursday, like, you're absolutely fine. There's a lot more clarity on the things that you want, a lot more clarity in bringing, it's not balance, but like harmony into your life. I don't think you can fully have balance, but it's a real kind of harmony into your life, and about making some fundamental changes and also having the conversation with yourself. I just want to go back to this all the time. Friday, futility, which is a swords thing, and you can see the way it sits under Monday, Tuesday, but I really wanted to do as like a little connector between Tuesday. So you can see here again, you've got the sword of clarity, which is what you have here as well. And this is an air card, swords, your intellectual thinking. The overall message of this card is your fears are nothing to do with reality. And I'm going to say that again. Your fear is nothing to do with reality. So any fears that you have as you've been going through, as you know, your inner saboteur has been chatting away, and as you know, you've been going through the motions on Tuesday, you know, there's a bit of doubt, there's a bit of like stuff creeping in, there's a bit of demand, there's a bit of pressure coming in on Friday. And I want to keep saying to you, no, don't bend, you know, stick to your guns kind of thing, stick to you, because yeah, this is, your fears are not the result of reality at all. You can see the different swords as they're trying to like clash and break the main sword of clarity kind of here. And there's little dents, don't get me wrong, like you're feeling it because you are the sword of clarity here. But, you know, you're not going to be broken kind of thing. Saturday we have love, which to me, I mean, this Two of Cups is the ultimate love card that you can get. And this is where you're like, okay, I'm doing things for myself. This really screams self-love to me, and screams sort of having conversations with loved ones, with people. We're asking for help. We're not always great asking for help, and I know you're not pal one, but actually relying on that support network. I'm seeing somebody fall backwards and there's a net, like people are catching her in a net, which tells me that, yeah, we're relying on a support network here kind of thing, and doing the things that we love, doing the things that light us up on Saturday. And by the end of the week, we're rewarding ourselves. We're maybe having a glass of wine or something, or like having some chocolate, or having like a sweet treat, or just something, you know, doing a bit of a self-care day, going for a hike, just doing stuff that fills up our wells here as well, and allowing others to do that. Yeah, as well. And then you've got Princess of Cups, which again screams that Sunday, very like family orientated day here. You can see how elevated she is. You've got the royalness with the swan, you've got family and a fresh start with the fish, and then you've got turtle, which again for me screams the world because of Terry Pratchett, but also the turtle really again represents kind of family. And then the lotus here, you've got a real theme of lotuses kind of either side. There's another lotus somewhere else, the one in here, you know. And what do lotuses do? They grow through the mud, they grow through the muck, they, you know, nothing can kind of stop them. And then the ultimate symbol of peace and tranquility and meditation, if you think of a Buddha, you'll think of a Buddha on a lotus kind of thing. So yeah, that was a lot. I'm just going to pick out of my own deck, sorry for shaking the lens, a card that might help. Ooh, not, that's too many. A card that will help the overall week. Oh my goodness. We are chatty. You're going to be having a lot of conversations with yourself. And for some of you, really setting boundaries or resetting boundaries with people. People who think they can take the mick a little bit. The secret. Okay. So a secret kept, a secret revealed. You know that they know that they know that they know. Let me say it again. You know that they don't know that you know. This to me was like a little bit of a silliness on top of that. And it's very much when you're... Oh, okay, how interesting. I'm just getting something through. Okay, so, and it's interesting I put that here. So in connection to family and in connection to the fear, kind of here, you need to listen to your intuition. Because your intuition knows, and you know your intuition knows that those people don't know that you know that they know. It's almost like you, part one, you've got the ability to predict. And that could be by spotting patterns. That could also be the fact of like just your intuition screaming at you. You know, someone could say something that they don't need to be triggering here on Friday. And you're like, you know that that's not what they meant. They meant something else, but also they're wrong because they're coming up from their perspective of this, and that's not what I'm doing. It's like that kind of thing, if that makes sense. It's that your inner knowing, when you make peace a little bit with your saboteur here, knows intuitively more what's going on, what's going to help, what's going to heal you, what's going to help you find that self-love, than you are giving your saboteur credit for. There's something else as well for some of you. Because obviously this reading, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Some of you, it is an actual secret. But I'm getting that you intuitively know. Like you intuitively know that someone is keeping a specific secret. I'm getting a work, like a two-way conversation kind of thing. And they're trying to not show their full cards, but you're going, it doesn't matter because I know who you are and I can see those full cards anyway. It doesn't matter if you show me that, I intuitively know. Yeah. And also keeping the secret conversation of the changes that you're making to yourself as well. Like, obviously share with family, you have that support and everything, but don't tell them everything. That was kind of convoluted as it went kind of a little bit everywhere, but it's fine. Again, the joys of a collective reading. Let's do your happy card for the week. Happy-ish. What does pile one need to know? What does pile one? This one. There we go. We don't move on, we move forward. Interesting. So your struggle will not always be a headline. There we go. You will always be part of your story. You are the sum total of all your relationships and experiences shaped by your joys and your struggles, by what you love and what you've lost. You can love what you have and miss what you had. You can hold grief and gratitude. You can live, love, laugh, and still long for what was. There we go. As it is. Okay, pile one. I hope that was helpful. There was lots of different like pockets of energy. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. As always, have a gorgeous week. Sending you lots of love. And yeah, just have a good conversation with your inner saboteur and everything will be fine. Your fear is not the result of reality. Thank you, bye. Hello, my gorgeous pile twos. Welcome to your reading. As ever, this is a collective reading, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and let's get cracking. So, pile two. There's a big focus on study with this, just already picking this up. And there's a big focus on learning. It doesn't have to be something kind of academic, but learning something slightly different as well. Something you wouldn't necessarily be learning about or expanding on. Say if it's a work situation, you're expanding on this like one little niche of learning and originally not originally, but like I'm wanting to kind of sweep. It's like we're sweeping away the cobwebs a little bit, pile two. We're sweeping away things that don't serve us. We're going through and redoing our affirmations. We're, putting in some work, putting in some study as a whole thing. It also, like, for me, reminds me of one of those like money jars, if it's a swear jar or anything like that. So this is kind of telling me that, you know, we're putting things away for the future. We're not necessarily saving for the future, but the learning that we're doing, the studying that we're doing, you know, it could be something simple about you watch a couple of documentaries on this niche, but all of that helps you in the future. We're storing stuff and helping our future self. That's the message. So let's pick this out. Pile 2, week ahead. What do we need? Oh, we're all falling out. I'm feeling there's like a massive difference. There's like, for some of you, could also be during the week. For some of you, there's this one feeling over here of, we finally have some quiet time. We can get our head down, we can lock in. I keep hearing lock in and seeing it like a lock and key, like we're locked in. And then for others of you, it's like, I could not be any busier. And for some of you, it will be a wave of the two. During the week, it's like we're going to have a hectic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the rest of the week is going to be slightly more quiet, or vice versa. Or a busy weekend, so we're trying not to overdo it in the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, hello, Thursday. Nearly went past you. Oh, okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And your overall card for the week. There's one card shouting at me. Yeah, that's you. Interesting. Okay, so I also forgot that these cards are, whatchamacallit, there's a bit of nudity. So I might have to go find some things to cover these up because I forgot to do that. So Monday, already we have nudity. Monday, the sun. Tuesday, interesting, pile 1 had the same card. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, pile 1 had the same card. Saturday, I feel like for some of you, this lust card comes up a lot, or strength. And then Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What a interesting week. And it really is an up and down week, or like I'm just seeing a wave that goes from like kind of settling slightly, and then it's like me. It's kind of crazy in different ways. This is really interesting. Okay, so your overall card for the month, and bear with me as I kind of get used to this new setup, is the moon, which talks about transitions, and it talks about going through a transformation, going through transitions, going through an upheaval slightly in your life. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are moving house, if you're changing jobs, if you're going on a different career path, if you're looking at things, if you're trying new things, you know, dating different kinds of people, that kind of stuff. New hobbies. There's a kind of, it's less a newness and more about an experimentation with this. And what's really amazing as well, because, yeah, I'm going to skip to that bit. When you turn this card round, at the end of the journey is the sun, and you've got the sun as well for Monday, which is great. It's a really lovely, like, visual to see. You've got the scarab here. We know the scarab within Egyptian mythology and with everything else that is very much about the in-between, so like one or the other. We're trying to like get our heads down and move in between, but we've got one side that's peaceful and the other side that's hectic. So it's that, and there's a gatekeepingness here. There's a feeling of needing to pass some kind of test. It doesn't have to be an academic test, but pass some kind of test, assessment. It could be a test or something we put on ourselves as well. There is, because it's Crowley, and this is the Thoth tarot deck, it's Crowley, it's they're meant to be legs, and that's meant to be female genitalia, so it's Crowley. So it's like it's in the meaning of kind of a birth and rebirth, but we're kind of in the in-between of that. But of course it's Crowley, there's nudity with that. So Monday we have the sun card as well. You can see the sun here trying to stop the cherubs from being so naked. And you've got all of the zodiac here. This is like you have everything in your disposal. This is, if you're looking for an answer, like a yes or no, then the answer is yes. This card is absolutely a yes. Monday we are fully in our season, we're fully in our vibes. We could not be happier. We could not be more joyful in that way. You know, that wall there is to say, you know, the grass isn't greener. We are on the green side of the grass kind of thing. We are thriving. We're joyful. We're glorious. Monday is a great day. We're not having a blue Monday kind of thing. And we can deal with everything and do everything that we set our minds to with that. Tuesday, you have futility, which is what the other team, pile 1 had, which really as a summary is about your fears aren't a reflection on reality. So we've lost a little bit of this. Maybe we've been pulled down a little bit. Maybe some people have tried to not humble us, but just been a bit of a shit. People are trying to put a damper on our good time, you know, trying to like stop the party. We're having a great time kind of thing. And you can see you've got the Sword of Clarity here. You've got the other swords trying to chip away. And there are like little cracks, but that sword is solid. And this is also, I think for a lot of you, there's this feeling of guilt. So I don't know why I'm getting this, but we're going to go with it. So in the early terms of bereavement, I think actually not just early terms, actually throughout bereavement, sometimes when we're grieving someone, we're bereaving, and that could not just be a person, that could be a pet, that could be a job, that could be a certain life or whichever. Sometimes there's a feeling of guilt with being happy and a feeling of guilt of, you know, being joyful. But you can be sad and joyful at the same time. You can grieve for someone and still enjoy parts of your life. You know, arguably 9 times out of 10, that person would want you to be joyful. And in fact, I mean, I'm doing a mediumship training, so getting to know and talk to spirits in a different way is really, really interesting. But the conversations that I'm picking up, that I'm having, that I'm seeing in my training, is that those on the other side want you to be joyful. They want you to live life to the extent. And they miss us, we miss them. It's a beautiful kind of exchange, especially when you're channeling and stuff. But they still want you to be joyful, you know, and it's that kind of thing. Somebody needed to hear that. This is also with swords about an internal conversation, and it's, oh, excuse me, I hate for you to play that now. It's an internal conversation about allowing yourself and dealing with success, allowing yourself to be glorious, you know. I'm hearing for some of you, it's almost like you do the affirmations, you do everything, and then you're putting out to the universe what you want to manifest, but then you're not seeing it in the 3D, you're not seeing it right now. I'm hearing the song right here, right now. So it's that kind of thing of stop getting in your head about it. Just because you can't see your manifestation in real time doesn't mean it's not coming. It doesn't mean it's not here. And really what I want to say to you guys, like, if you think of that, think of different, if you're thinking of your different life, if you're thinking of the love and the relationship that you want, if you're thinking of money or whatever else, look for those moments, those pockets of time, those things where you're already living this manifestation life. You know, this fear is not a reality of what's happening. And that's the real conversation you're having with yourself, and what the real theme is for Tuesday as well. I feel like there's a lot of pressure coming in for a lot of you for Tuesday. Wednesday, we're back in abundance. We're back in our high flying time. Sometimes we need a little bit of a low. We're like, you know, everything is thriving, everything's going really well, everything is great. There's not much else to say about Wednesday. We're like feeding into our lotuses, so we're feeding into our wells, you know, our internal wells. Everything is ticking by and everything's good. The sun's shining, we're feeling great, you know, it's that kind of thing. And then you've got Knight of Discs for Thursday, which, I just want to hold it up for some of you, really talks about the harvest. Kind of before and kind of slightly after the harvest, you've got some land that's already harvested there and some other that needs to be harvested here. You can see the way he's like locked in and focused on the past there with the shield, trying not to let the past kind of influence his present or his future at the moment, where the horse is focused more towards the future. And he's got the ram there on his head. And really this tells me that on Thursday you're back here slightly to where you were on Tuesday, and that you're trying not to let past habits, past behaviors, past people influence your decisions and influence your future and influence everything that's kind of going on. There's a lot of boundary setting because you've got obviously the kind of shield there as well with that. So Thursday is very much of, I'm getting this kind of like trying to push people away a little bit, just like leave me, I need to study, just move away. And I was doing that sweeping earlier. So yeah, it's very much about that, about putting boundaries up, about moving away from people, about being like, no, we're not focusing on the past, what's happened or anything else like that. Friday, bear with me as I just take a drink. Excuse me. Friday, Princess of Cups. The pile 1 had this as well. It might be that you're going through bits of pile 1 and pile 2. Obviously, it's collective reading. I'm trying to pick up on lots of different people that be watching this. So, Princess of Cups is really a family card as well. But it also talks about, because you've got the fish of family, fish of transformation as well. The turtle always reminds me of like the world, like Terry Pratchett, that kind of thing. Discord, there we go. Or Discourse. Discord's an app. Yeah, Discourse. Go with it. Again, more lotuses as well. Pile 1 also had a lot of lotuses with this. And then you've got the swan, which is royalty. We're still in our flourishing era. We're going to say that. We're still flourishing. We're still kind of like in our gratitude. We're still doing all the work. We might not necessarily be seeing all the little things that we're doing because we're just doing that 1% better every day, and that's all you want to do, that 1% better. But this talks about looking more for support as well with Princess of Cups, getting that more emotional support for yourselves. Maybe some of you don't have a relationship so much with a parent or with a sibling, or maybe you've lost touch with a friend and you want to like reconnect and kind of catch up and talk about all the things that you want to kind of to talk about, just to bring you both together. I'm seeing like two people coming in kind of thing. And it's definitely a friendship more than a kind of romantic thing. It's about meeting someone where they're at as well. And I think, how interesting. I think for some of you, well, this is very much a kind of, you're trying to study, you're trying to do this, you're trying to get your head down, you're trying to lock in. Some of you, I feel like, are looking at being influencers or educating other people as well, in that sense. And you're just needing a bit of help, a bit of support, a bit of, some of you, it's like help at home. Like you just need, I'm hearing abuela, so that'd be grandmother to look after, the grandkids or that kind of stuff. It is looking at the support around you. And it doesn't have to be, because I think for some of you as well, some of you, your family aren't in this country. You're not in England or the UK where I'm coming from, or they're not in the country that you live in. So it's about seeing like if your friends, I'm hearing like my work mum, my work dad, my work siblings, my work bestie can support you a little bit as well. With that, look at, like, I'm also seeing like quite a few things with you, pile 2, but also like when you look through your phone, you look through your contact list and you mark out, that's the kind of person A, they're the kind of person that I can call at 3 a.m. when I've had a broken tire or that kind of thing. It's looking at those people and going, I need some support, I need some help, I need some guidance, I need something. Maybe it's not that, maybe it's just a case of you're grieving and you just need someone to hang out with to have a normal day kind of thing. I know I definitely needed that and leaned on my friends for that kind of after a major passing last year, which was my dad. I ended up going for a really long, really nice walk with my friends and my cousins and just having a moment, like having a moment to myself, having a picnic with them, enjoying something. And again, I think I talked about guilt, didn't I, with this group? So yeah, it's kind of a little bit scatty and a little bit, it's like you're physically in one place, but we're kind of all over the place a little bit. It's very up and down this week for you, pile 2. Lust is actually the strength card. So in a traditional tarot deck, this would be the person holding the mouth of the lion open. And this very much, again, is there's I'm sure in the traditional one, there's the sun in the background. This is like, okay, we've got a support in place. We've had a conversation with ourselves, our inner saboteur and whatever else. We're putting boundaries in, we're looking after ourselves. Now is the time to really kind of sit in our power, sit in our strength, and look at, what am I good at? Because you don't have to be, it's almost better to be a jack of all trades, rather than a master of one thing sometimes. I'm getting two different things. So for some of you, it's about being a jack of all trades. And for some of you, it's just about getting your head down and focusing on one skill, because you can elevate it. There's a real strength around that skill. And that goes hand in hand with that, going off and doing training or learning about that one niche as well. But really, Saturday is about filling your well, building up strength, leaning in on your strength as well. It's about knowing that you've got the support here of, those around you, those people that you need. And again, you've got the snakes of transformation here, you've got the peacock, and she is holding, even though she is riding on the lion, she's riding on strength, she is holding the elixir of life in that point. So it's like, in a summary, the things that bring you love and bring you joy, pull on that and rely and know and rest on the fact that the universe and will provide that for you. They'll provide more joy for you, that they'll allow you to pull on that thread of joy and see where that takes you as well. And lean on some family. Thursday is death. I don't get a sense of a physical death at all. I think, this again goes hand in hand with grieving as well, and bereavement. We've touched on that a little bit. With this feels very much like the death of the self. Let me say that again. The death of the self. So the death of who you are as a person, because I'm wanting to go back and forth. So recognizing that past you is not present you, or that past you is not future you. You are different. You can transform, you can change, you can move, you can grow, you can want different things, you can, it's that want for different things, enjoy different things with that. And this is because it's a Sunday and it's going hand in hand with the rest of the week. And then you've got the moon, which tells me this is about letting go of old parts of yourself, old parts of your shadow self, like really leaning into that transformation and going, okay, well, I feel like for some of you, you kept certain things, like you kept, this sounds really silly, but like jeans from an ex, and it's about getting rid of those. Or you've kept, again, I'm seeing jeans that no longer fit you and haven't fit you for ages. Get rid of them. You don't need them. This is who you are today, and this is glorious as you are. So that's what I'm getting. I'm just going to pull a card for your theme. I'm just going to check the time. Bear with me. Okay, now we're doing all right. I thought we were a lot longer. Let's go. Oh. Yeah, the perfect kingdom. So perfection is an illusion. What would make your life truly perfect? And we're going here, aren't we? Be more delusional. Hopefully you can see that. Like, be more delusional. Really look at, if maybe the learning is your manifestation or learning more about yourself, be delusional. Like, don't just say, oh yeah, if I had 10 million pounds, then, I would buy, my mum a house. It's like, well, you could buy her a house in, 7 different countries, 8 different countries kind of thing. It's like, be delusional. Be like, think of your dream life and then go bigger. Every time, go bigger with that. And then do the tiniest thing that bridges the gap. The tiniest thing that maybe gets you to where you want to be. So maybe, I'm going to use this in terms of learning, maybe some of you are wanting to go back to school. You're wanting to do a university degree or a master's or learn something or do a course. And it's about, okay, what pick the top university you want to go to, or pick the top college or whatever you want to go to, pick the course. And yes, there's all of these hurdles that present themselves to you, but just picture yourself graduating with like full honors or whichever else. Yeah, like it's like, just go for it. Yeah, I want to like keep telling you, just go for it. Just go for the delusion fully. And you're in a full transformation of that. You are really letting go of things that no longer serve you. What is... I'm going to end with a happy-ish card. Just a bit of advice for the week for pile 2. It's that one. Be nice to the intern. That's cute. It's super American, but yeah, well cute. Life will continually bring you new circumstances, new challenges, new exciting ways to feel like you've been kicked in the neck. Every time this happens, and it's always without notice, you're back to the beginning, learning a whole new way to exist. Learning again. You're the intern trying to figure out why everyone is speaking in acronyms, wondering where the printer is. Be nice to this version of you. They'll be the boss someday. I mean, come on. Yeah, fully links to everything. I love when that happens. Thank you so much, pile 2. Have a gorgeous week. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. There's, like I said in the intro, there's lots of new things that I'm going to be doing and bringing forward. Some exciting stuff and exciting changes where I am definitely going to be the intern in this aspect. So yeah, thank you so much. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading for the week ahead. I'm just going to move your sticker there. There we go. Save your head. Yeah, I picked up in the intro with yourselves that this week there's a lot of pressure you're putting on yourself. Instead of an external thing, there's a real perfectionism coming through, because this feels like more of a, I need to read more books, I need to read more books, I need to read more books. Like you've set yourself targets and we're 6 months into the year, 7 months into the year, that kind of thing, depending on when I post this. And it feels very much a kind of way of, we're not necessarily where we want to be. I feel like you are. I feel like you're just not seeing it because you set such high expectations on yourself. Yeah, there's a lot of like pressure. I'm feeling like a lot of physical weight on my shoulders, quite literally. Like maybe some of you have lower back pain. I'm not a medical professional, just a reader. So yeah, just I'm hearing like, be careful of your back. You know, you're carrying too much, but also just physically be careful of your back. Maybe do some like exercise, some stretches, some qigong, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's very much a feeling of we need to just take a rest. We need to take a breath. We're feeling a bit stressed, a bit of pressure on ourselves. Just, you know, take a minute. Just breathe. Just, you know, take a stop. Maybe book a mental health day. I've done that this year for the first time. I actually booked a mental health day. I've never booked one from work at all, like in my entire career. And the pressures of everything at the moment, society and all the rest of it, have been immense. And I think it's very much, I want to tell you guys to be more graceful with yourself as well. And the word that you lot hate, patience. So let's shuffle this and get into your week. As I'm doing this, I want to say thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. There is a bunch of stuff that's coming in very, 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 very soon that I've been working on as I've taken a little break. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And you know what? If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy my readings, if you enjoy the daily cards, which will always be on there, please feel free to send them to your mates as well. Anyone that, you know, you might think, oh, they might like a daily card. They might like, you know, a little bit of a check-in through the day, or a weekly read, or the way I read, which is kind of scatty, but I feel like a lot of you will follow. Okay, and your card for the week. Ooh, there was another card that jumped out a minute ago. Is pleasure. This feels like a desire for more pleasure. Are we in the frame? Let me just check. got a whole new setup, and because I'm really small, I have to use a stool to check the camera every single time. It's a much nicer setup because I can actually move, and I'm one of those that I need to physically move about to to channel or feel comfortable channeling. I'm not a sit down, be still, and I feel like pile 3, you're the only one that I've actually admitted that to, and I feel like pile 3, you're very much the same. We've got my neurodivergence people here. As I said, this is a collective reading. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Let's get into it. Monday. Bear with me, because she's very naked. We've got Lust, which is the traditional strength card, coming with pleasure. I mean, pile 2 have this card, so maybe there's stuff within pile 2 that you want to go and have a look at, because there might be some stuff that resonates. Tuesday, pile 1 had that card. Yeah, there is a theme. Wednesday, so you're the only one with this card. Thursday, pile 2 had that card. Definitely go back and have a look at pile 2, 100%. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oh, okay. So pile 3, we are very in our head, aren't we? We're very we're in the internal thoughts. We are kind of half present and half not here. So you've got Lust. Do I want to get to pleasure first? No, I want to get to Lust. So Lust in the traditional tarot deck would be Strength. That would be like the person holding the mouth open of the lion, and then you'd have the sun in the background and that kind of stuff. This to me reads slightly differently to pile 2, which it does tell me that, you know, in pile 2 it was more about you had the support here from people, whereas for you guys, I'm using guys as a general term to mean everyone. It's kind of like Americans say y'all or you. Yeah, I think we normally say you lot or you guys. I think Americans say guys. Anyway, as a whole thing, this for Monday reminds me very much of more a case of these are your skills. These are the things that you have at your disposal, and about leaning more on the things that you can do. There's very much this idea of, because I feel like pile 3, you're a jack of all trades. Even if you are a master of something, you have so many different skills. I feel like some of you would be great in a pub quiz, or like doing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something like that. Or I feel like you're not giving yourself enough credit for how good and how smart and how wonderful you actually are, you know. And I feel like for some of you that's because people have told you that you're not smart or not great. I'm hearing like there's an ex-partner who told you you're dumb or won't amount to anything, and just very insecure, shitty people telling you bollocks, basically, telling you absolute crap. Apologies for my French, my language. If you don't like me swearing, it's not a channel for you, sorry. But yeah, it's very much that kind of emphasis of you need to realize that you are incredible, because you're not looking at everything that you have. You're not looking at the skills that you have. You're not looking at everything that's there. It's at your disposal. It's like I'm looking around for a screwdriver, but I have it on this massive tool belt, and on this tool belt I don't just have a screwdriver, I have other little things, and that's the image that I'm seeing. It's like you're looking for what you already have, but you're not seeing it. You're not making that connection kind of thing. And I want you guys to really kind of sit and have a good conversation with yourself and really look at yourself in the mirror and say that you are glorious. Just say, I am glorious. I am wonderful. I'm incredible. I have every skill. I have everything that I need. It's having that, because you're looking too much outside of yourself, and I want to pull you in with that. And rely on your strengths, on your joy, on things that light you up, because they bring you back into yourself as well. So that comes back to the read more books. Don't just read more books. Read what you enjoy. And I don't care if that's one book for the rest of the year. You know, it's not this joy about reading books, this hobby, this love, this passion. Don't make it a chore, is what I'm trying to say. Don't make it so it becomes a pressure or another measurable thing that to show how successful or wonderful you are. It's a joy, you know. It's that kind of thing. And Monday, you're really getting into that. Maybe you're seeing this on Monday. There we go. That's a kick that you needed. You know, you can see the way she's holding the elixir of life. She's holding everything within her hands. And again, I'm hearing that biblical song, "Whole World in His Hands." It's, you know, it's that thing of you don't need to be looking outside of yourself. You have everything internal. You have the transformation there. And the pleasure that you seek is already here. The pleasure that you're looking for is already here. You're manifesting things that you want. You're doing everything the right way. There's a real perfectionism in this group. But take pleasure in the things and the stock and everything that's here. I won't say that again. I might say it again. And then you've got Prince of Cups as well, which is Tuesday, and you can see the way he's there skimming across the water here on his eagle. I'm pretty sure it's an eagle because he's got an eagle there as well. Maybe we've got some Americans watching this because it's a couple of times where I've said something that's kind of Americanized or a link to America. But again, you've got the lotus here. So the lotus is turned down and there's lotuses here with the pleasure. You can see just either side at the top there. And he's looking at the snake, and the snake is your change. It's your transformation. That's over here. You can see the patterns now, hopefully, you know, and it's a case of, okay, absolutely fine. Focus on change and your joy and things that you want to modify or edit. Maybe it's your daily routine in order to bring you into a more meditative state. That's absolutely fine. All of that's great, but don't lose yourself in that. Don't lose yourself in just what's in the 3D and what's progress, or, you know, progress, quote unquote. Don't lose yourself in things that are a measurement of success, you know, or society deems is a measurement of success. Hopefully you get what I'm saying as a whole thing, you know. Go by your own rules, not by the standards of society. There we go. And don't lose yourself as well, because that's the key thing. He's very much like, and I said this, I think it was pile 1, maybe pile 2, in the way of, this card always reminds me of when you skim a rock over a lake, you know, and you can see it and it goes boop, 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 and off it goes. And there's a certain way to do it. There's a certain skill. Again, we're going back to skill to do it. And it reminds me of that, but in this case, you are the rock. You are skimming across things, you're just touching base, and each time it's just propelling you forward until you sink into the bottom, which will be emotions, and you're comfortable at that point, so you're fine. Wednesday, change. This is where on Wednesday, you know, you have the conversation with yourself. Monday, Tuesday, there's a lot of people having conversations with themselves. Monday, Tuesday is a real, might need to check the planets. There's a real like internal dialogue, talking to the inner saboteur, all of that. Yeah, with it. But Monday, Tuesday, you know, you've had the conversations, you've looked at, what do I want my great life to be? What do I want in my life? Who do I want in my life? And Wednesday, we're making those practical changes. And it doesn't have to be anything major. It can be really small things, like changing the way that we do our affirmations. If you do affirmations, maybe bringing affirmations in. And let me give you a really good example. So I have been trying to get myself to meditate every day for 15 years or 20 years or whatever. My mum was big into meditation and meditates every day ever since I was very, very small. And she would take me to meditation groups and all the rest of it. You know, this is the early 90s kind of thing, very early 90s. Because I am, quote, old. And I'm not that old, I promise. And anyway, I always almost wanted to copy her and be like her, but meditation in terms of a sitting and being still is not for me. Like I said, we're doing this and I'm kind of pacing a little bit around the room as I'm channeling and I'm talking. And that's for me, whereas I discovered martial arts and things like Qigong and Tai Chi. And for me, they're meditative. They help me focus and lock in and channel, and they bring me what meditation does. Occasionally I do sit down and do a bit of a meditation. Sometimes it's a past life regression, but that movement works for me because I'm physically getting out that internal restlessness. But you know, ADHD, woo! So it's that kind of thing. That's my whole point of the change. We're doing things, we're beating to the rhythm of our own drum. It's very much that. And then Thursday is, we've got the death card here. This is really about the death of ourselves in terms of, I think pile 2, I did say that, pile 2 had that, in terms of, okay, the old patterns, behaviours, things that no longer serve us, we're getting rid of. People that we need to put boundaries with, fine, getting rid of them, kind of thing. And it's changing things up, and there's a real welcoming of this kind of death. And I'm seeing, you know, the process of, it's such a cliche, but the process of, you know, a caterpillar going into a butterfly, it has to melt. It has to, like, I can't remember the scientific name for it, but it has to, like, literally turn to goo before it can transform, before it can emerge as this butterfly. And that death, that change, so Wednesday, Thursday, is you turning to goo. There we go. That's how I'm saying it. And then as we come out on the Friday, you've got Valor, which is this warlike energy, and everything with Crowley, because this is Thoth, this is Crowley's deck. It is sexual. Does that look like male genitalia? Yes, it does. Is it meant to represent that? Kind of. So, yes, but it's about taking ownership, being that authoritative and going at things with a warlike valor. It's like you've turned to goo and now you have the energy to fully transform and manifest things in real life at this point. And then, so that's Friday. Let me take a sip. 1 second. I completely appreciate, I give a lot of information and I do a lot of talking throughout this whole thing. I know other tarot readers tend to pause. I'm not that. I'm going to throw information at you from what I'm getting, because sometimes I get things really quickly. So if you need to rewatch this, it's absolutely fine. Thank you. I'm having a drink. My very cool glass. So Saturday, we're looking at defeat. And it doesn't mean we're actually defeated. We're looking at the times that oh, that's interesting. I'm getting a download. Yeah, we're talking about the times that we thought maybe were failures, or the times when we thought we were defeated, and seeing how we turn that around. I'm seeing literally a card, like I want to do that. It's like how we took our defeat and we made it our success. It's very much that, because then we go into Sunday and that's the gain. So it's looking at, okay, sorry if that was very loud. So we're looking at the change here. So we're coming at things from a different standpoint. So on Thursday, when we had that death, and we had, you know, the death of the self, we're not doing these old behaviors and patterns and all the rest of it. You know, we're making changes, we're bringing in new habits, we're doing things differently, we're making that phone call we've been putting off for like 3 days, or, you know, really pushing at someone to say, you know, you're delayed on this work and I need this now, kind of thing. That's what that energy is. And the defeat is very much like, in the past, you would have dealt with all of that stuff in a different way. And the defeat is recognizing this is where you are now, but also recognizing that you are not repeating any of those behaviors. So it's a defeat of the old self, the former self, in that way, but it's also a defeat of recognizing that your failures are what makes you a better person. What failures are what makes you, I'm being very vague with failures are what makes you a better person, because that's obviously contextual, but you know, your failures are what propelled you forward. You know, it's that kind of thing, because Sunday we have gain. So you're looking at the two different sides. It's almost like you're having that real discussion, or you're journaling, or having that conversation with yourself about, how do I look at defeat and failure, especially as a perfectionist, which I'm picking up a lot of you are, and how do I look at success? And am I looking at them both in the same way? Is there fear around both? And I feel like for some of you, it's easier to point out how you deal with defeats, how you maybe put up defenses, or how you feel like I want to go in on myself, you know, how you run away kind of thing, or not want to deal with stuff. Whereas for some of you, you really need to go into how you deal with success, because if you don't feel like you're worthy of success, you're not going to deal with it very well, and you're not going to thrive in it. Does that make sense? It's almost like you, for a long time, this whole thing, especially with defeat, you've put a glass ceiling here. It's almost like you've put your target here. I'm trying to do this. So you've put your target higher, and then your glass ceiling is lower. And this week you're bridging that gap between the things that you really want to the expectations that you have on yourself. Hopefully that makes sense. You know, you're breaking through your own glass ceiling. There we go. To meet your manifestation. No. There we go, yeah. So, I want to get you one card for the week. This is my own deck. I want to go here. I love these cards. I'm biased, I made them, but I love them. So, the poison gift. So, what poison are you taking? What did we say about your own glass ceiling? What did we say about sabotaging ourselves? What did I say about, you know, the death of the self? Negative habits, thoughts, and narrative. What's your cure? I love when this stuff happens, when it all kind of comes together and makes sense. I mean, literally, we've talked about this whole thing. Look at where you are poisoning yourself. And you see the way I put it here, between change and as well, intuitively, I didn't mean to, between looking at your inner emotions and everything kind of here, the change, dealing things differently, and looking at defeat. Oh, it's going to be a great week for you. I can't wait to do like the week after, where I feel like you're still going to be working on stuff, but just going to be a bit more elevated. So, we're going to end with a happy-ish card. I hope you guys found this really useful. If you enjoyed this reading, please like and subscribe. Like I said, it really helps me out as a new content creator. Newish. I've been doing it for a couple of months now. March or April. Ah, come on. What have we been talking about? What if everything worked out? What if the thing you're worrying about right now never came to pass and something else fell into place? Something joyful, something wonderful, or heck, just something not bad at all. There we go. Take a break from leaping to a laundry list of what could go wrong and let your mind explore what could be if it all worked out. What's the best that could happen? Oh, I love when that happens. So, thank you guys so much. That was your pile 3 for the week coming up. Again, please like and subscribe. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And yeah, sending you all love and blessings. Have a fantastic, fantastic week. Bye.